A shocking report has linked the Pittsburgh Steelers to their next franchise quarterback. The San Francisco 49ers are not convinced that their current quarterback deserves the payday that he is due. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers can be one phone call away from getting their guy from the 49ers. Yeah, John Lynch? Yeah, it's Omar. I heard you're selling Brock Purdy. Yeah, I got a first-round pick. It's that simple, guys. Before we get into it, let's get you guys to subscribe to the channel. Steelers Digest channel's been blowing up. We're up over 1,000 subscribers. Can't thank you guys enough for that. Keep hitting that sub button. Let's make this thing grow. Let's make this thing boom. Jason McCourty agrees with me. He said, now, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you've already traded for DK Metcalf and gave him a big contract. You need to have somebody to throw the ball to them. And if you're the Steelers, why not think about calling up the 49ers and John Lynch and saying, I don't know where you guys are at right now. Give us a shot at Brock Purdy. We'll let him be able to distribute to all the weapons we have here in Pittsburgh. And that is a very compelling offer that the Steelers could make for Brock Purdy. This report shocked me when I saw it, and I'm even more shocked now that the Steelers haven't already got this deal done because the Niners are not convinced that Brock Purdy is the guy. They are not sold that they want to give him the contract that he is owed as good as he has played for them. He was Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick in the draft. No one thought this guy was any good. And then Kyle Shanahan worked his magic, kept his reputation as a quarterback whisperer, and made Brock Purdy a Pro Bowl quarterback that took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. And then there's still people that argue that it was Brandon Ayuk, that it was Deebo Samuel, that it was George Kittle. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers have DK Metcalf and George Pickens. DK and GP need a QB, and right now, Brock Purdy is the best option the Steelers could ever ask for. Here's the thing. The trade isn't as far-fetched as you might think. Purdy, by all estimations, is a promising starter in the NFL, from Mr. Irrelevant to a potential $50 million quarterback. So, what he's done with the 49ers is nothing short of impressive. This dude has become one of the premier quarterbacks in the National Football League, and there's still people that want to undervalue how good he is. Just watch him play. That's all I say to you. Watch Brock Purdy play football and tell me he's not an NFL quarterback. Dude is awesome. If he's my quarterback, I am living. I am thrilled. I am ecstatic that he is my quarterback. But his head coach, Kyle Shanahan, is known to be this quarterback whisperer that can turn any late-round flyer of a quarterback into a Pro Bowler, into a Super Bowl level quarterback. So that's what is going wrong with the 49ers right now is John Lynch is like, we don't need to pay Brock Purdy because we could bring in anybody and then just let Kyle Shanahan work his magic, work his dark magic on our quarterback and make him this ball distributor to all these stud playmakers that we have. They don't have that many stud playmakers anymore. They didn't want to trade Brandon Ayuk to the Steelers. Instead, they give him this huge contract extension. He looks terrible as soon as he gets that contract extension and then gets hurt. So it gets worse for him. And then they trade Deebo Samuel to the Commanders. What weapons? They don't have the same weapons for Brock Purdy. It's arguably a better situation in Pittsburgh for a quarterback than San Francisco right now. That team has to go through a full retool at this point. Okay, the last thing you need to do is pay a quarterback because they're not that close to a Super Bowl. The Steelers could be one piece away. If they get Brock Purdy, they could be in the Super Bowl. And I'm not even being wishful thinking here. Brock Purdy is that good. I hate that everybody says he's not. They've done it with Jimmy G, okay? So they can go out there and get whoever the heck they want in the draft. The Steelers need a sure thing, okay? That's why they're going for a veteran in the first place. And the fact is, the 49ers keep dragging their feet in these negotiations with Brock Purdy. And you see that at the bottom. They would have already signed him if they were convinced he's the guy. They would have given him the extension that he deserves because he's due a payday. But they haven't, which means they're not sold, which means he is available. And that's why analysts are saying, hey, maybe the Steelers could go in there and get Brock Purdy. That is why Jason McCourty said this, because the Steelers have to decide now if Brock Purdy is worth likely a first-round pick. I already told you guys, I'm on the phone with John Lynch right now saying, I want to give you my first-round pick. What else are we going to do with pick number 21? What else are we going to do with pick number 21? You're not going to take Jackson Dart at 21. You're not going to take Jalen Milroe at number 21. You can't get Cam Ward. You don't want Shadur Sanders. So what is the option other than trading that pick and getting Brock Purdy? You're going to sign Aaron Rodgers. You're going to sign Russell Wilson. You're going to roll with Mason Rudolph. I don't mind Mason Rudolph, but Brock Purdy is an upgrade over Mason Rudolph. You got a chance to get Brock Purdy. You got to get Brock Purdy. I don't care. Mason Rudolph's the man. Yeah, as a backup, I love Mason Rudolph. I'm not going to talk any smack on Mason Rudolph. I'm not going to say he's not a serviceable quarterback. He's a mid quarterback. That's what he is. Brock Purdy has the potential to be a great quarterback, and he's already showed flashes of that. That's what the Steelers need, is a great quarterback. So make a play for Brock Purdy. Don't make a play for Aaron. Don't make a play for Russell. I love Russell. I'd rather have Russell than Aaron, but I'd rather have Brock Purdy than any of them. And this is my quarterback pecking order, guys. At this point, right now, this is my pecking order. Brock Purdy, Russell Wilson, then Mason Rudolph, then Aaron Rodgers, then anybody else. Because that is where we're at right now as an organization. Aaron Rodgers is the last guy you want to bring in. And I talked about him in last video, talked about Aaron Rodgers versus Russell Wilson. I made it very clear to you guys that I prefer Russell Wilson, but I also understand the Steelers want Aaron Rodgers. I don't know why that is. Let's go back to this graphic one more time real quick and show you at the bottom. Even if this ends up the same way as last time, it's referring to when the Steelers tried to get Brandon Ayuk. They were trying to make a deal for this offensive star, and it didn't turn out. It didn't formulate the way that everybody wanted it to. We're glad it didn't. But with Brock Purdy, I can tell you right now, there will not be any regrets. That dude is the real deal. I believe in all of my heart that Brock Purdy could be the guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers, turn around this franchise. We have the defense. We have the weapons now. Brock Purdy would love playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have this young offensive line that we don't have to pay for a few more years. We got a ton of studs. Frazier, McCormick, Fontenot will be back this season. We got Broderick Jones. Sumalu was a free agent. We have 5 offensive linemen that are capable at this point. And they might not be the best, but they're capable. And 4 of them are on rookie contracts. Sumalo was the only one that's not on a rookie contract. So we can afford to pay Brock Purdy just like we can afford to pay DK Metcalf. And we will afford to pay George Pickens. Because look at what the Bengals just did. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That's what the Steelers are going to have in DK Metcalf and George Pickens when it's all said and done. Because I do believe in George Pickens. I do believe he can be our number 2. George Pickens is every bit as good as T. Higgins, and he should be paid as such. He's going to be our number 2 receiver, a superstar number 2 receiver next to DK Metcalf. All the attention can't be on one guy. So Brock Purdy, the facilitator that he is, the field general that he is, making those educated reads and educated decisions, making the right throws, making the right reads, knowing his progression. Brock Purdy is a very intelligent quarterback. And if we can get him on this team, that will elevate every single player on our offense. Every single player on our offense. I don't even care who our running back is. I prefer Cam Scatterbo, but our passing game would be levels above anything we've had since probably the 3Bs. I'll be honest, you guys. It was McCourty that suggested this the most recently, as far as analysts are concerned, but it was also suggested by Chris Canty. Steelers should explore a Brock Purdy trade. Feels like a call they should make. And I already made the call. Guys, I'm making the call. John Lynch, dude, we need this trade right now. We need Brock Purdy. Give me Brock Purdy. I don't care what you ask for, man. I'm giving you it because I want Brock Purdy on my team right now. This is what the Steelers need. This is what's holding us back. If we get Brock Purdy, guys, hey, it's over. It's over. So considering the quarterback market, Brock Purdy could become one of the more realistic options if the Steelers wanted to attempt to trade for a quarterback. Look at the Geno Smith situation. Nobody said Geno Smith was going anywhere. They acted like they were into Geno. They acted like they were going to keep him. Guess what? They traded him. Okay, there's also Kirk Cousins, but the Falcons just exercised their option on Kirk Cousins a few days ago, and he's due a $10 million signing bonus in 2026, which makes him less attractive to the Steelers and a less attractive option than Brock Purdy to begin with. Would I rather have him than Aaron Rodgers? Probably. I love Kirk Cousins. But I think Brock Purdy's the guy. When you see that you have the guy just sitting there, waiting for you, he's sitting there, and we could just poach him. We can pull him away from the San Francisco 49ers because they don't know what they have. It's like doing this bargain bin hunting at a yard sale. Okay, they don't know what they have. The yard seller doesn't know. He's like, I'm trying to sell this piece. They don't know what it's worth. If you offer some lowball offer, then you're negotiating. You're like, okay, here we go. Let's find our middle ground. That's what the Steelers need to do with Brock Purdy. The Niners don't value him as much as we do. We see the type of quarterback that he is. We know that he can be our guy. Let's go get that guy. Let's go get that man. Brock Purdy can make us a really, really good football team. Not just a good football team. Not just a mediocre football team hovering at winning record after winning record and then getting outed in the first round of the playoffs. Brock Purdy makes us a Super Bowl contender. I said it here first, ladies and gentlemen. I said it here first. Brock Purdy makes the Pittsburgh Steelers a scary Super Bowl contender. And you can tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm crazy. I don't care. I believe this, so I'm telling you this. Brock Purdy's the guy. The 49ers seem to be high on Purdy, and there was nothing to suggest they'd actually trade him. But the fact that they haven't signed him to an extension, like I mentioned earlier in this video, it's the same deal we saw with Geno Smith. They were saying, oh, we're so into Geno Smith. They wouldn't trade Geno Smith. They traded Geno to have a reunion with Pete Carroll. So this scenario between the Steelers and the 49ers is a legitimate possibility given the Steelers' current options, which we already talked about. Rodgers, Wilson, maybe Cousins if you want to talk that way, and maybe a draft pick. Brock Purdy is by far the best option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a guy that is 20 years younger than Aaron Rodgers. This is a guy that's going to give you a long stretch of good football, not just 1 year. He's not a rental. He's not a guy that you're hoping keeps two legs intact for an entire season. No, Brock Purdy is still young, and he's still very good and getting better as time goes on. The quarterback that he's become in his time getting this experience with the San Francisco 49ers, he is absolutely good enough to be the Pittsburgh Steelers' next quarterback and to take us to the next level. So it's worth mentioning, 1 year left on his rookie deal. 1 year left. If a team was to trade for him, they would have to line up a contract extension, similar to what the Steelers just did for DK Metcalf. What does it tell you guys? Everything is lining up. The stars are aligned. The Steelers just have to make it happen. Omar Khan, one call. One call to John Lynch. That's all it takes. And guess what? Steelers are a Super Bowl contender. And with DK Metcalf and George Pickens, sign me up, baby. Sign me up. Guys, I'm going to do the whole song and dance if we get Brock Purdy. I'm telling you right now, I will be on this channel praising Omar Khan and praising God, hallelujah, if we get Brock Purdy on this team. We just went and got DK. Never thought that would happen. I was singing and dancing about that as well. Brock Purdy, that's a different level. We would create a connection that is like thunder and lightning. I mean, you're talking, you got Brock Purdy throwing passes to DK Metcalf, guys. I never saw that happen, and it's this close to happening right now here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brock Purdy and DK Metcalf. Are you kidding me? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next episode.